Oh, you're awake. Good morning, dear. It's early. The sun hasn't even risen yet. I may have woken up early to make some breakfast and show you my new outfit, but the oven had different plans. Are you still sleepy? If you want, I could tell you a story. Something nice to make you fall back asleep. All right. Sit back, relax, as I tell you the story of the attack on the North Pole! 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the base, all the creatures were stirring as if to win a race. While half the world is asleep with dreams of a present morrow, one Santa Claus prepares for flying through snow. Dressed in all fur with a twinkling eye, how merry, rosy cheeks, fat belly, and a nose like a cherry. He once overs his list for a final time, while a battalion of elves pack his sleigh, for he knows the whole world is counting on him for a good Christmas day. His 9 magic reindeer, well stretched, anxious, and excited for the flight. Santa nodded to his navigator, who had charted the whole path for the night.
Ho, ho, ho!
The big man turned to his side.
Seems no hitches this year. There's usually one. From magic wishes to court cases. I'm just happy there's none.
I say count your blessings when you can, sir. It's for the best. 1 year without saving Christmas means I can have my rest. They laughed, chocked full of merriment and glee, till a far-off explosion halted their jamboree.
By gods! What was that? In the factory? An attack? I'll sort this mess out, and in a jiffy I'll be back.
By a wiggle of his nose, he was instantly at the scene, a half-blown-up factory with red splashed over green. He looked around quickly to find the culprit while calm. Then he found a small blue tiefling, rigging another bomb.
Come in, Santa Slayer! Fat man's on me!
She yelled into her comms while eyeing places to flee.
Now come on, what's with all this violence? For we haven't the time. Surely there's...
A weird scent throws off his rhyme. He sniffs 3 times in the air to make sure.
You're not from this world at all. How did you get...
His words are suddenly interrupted by a crash to the wall. He dodges a 4-foot candy cane with an axe at its tip. He turns around towards the smoke and he sees an obscure figure emerging. A woman. An elf, even. Standing no more than 5'4". She was dressed for the season, but not for the snow. She was wearing festive lingerie, a short skirt with a thong, midriff, and thigh-high socks. It seems the elf had only rage to keep her warm, as she huffed and she puffed at jolly old Saint Nick.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Santa exhales in a whimsy, trying to remember who would attack him at this time. He brushes the dust off of his bright red coat.
I'm Lorian Loc, half-elf, adventurer, and barbarian, and I'm here to end your evil reign, Santa, and free the elves you have enslaved here.
She growls, fist balled in anger, eyes fixed on her target.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa laughs, relieved.
This is all just one big misunderstanding. You see, the elves want to work.
Silence, slaver!
The woman yells, raising her hand open in the air and flexing her large, well-defined biceps. The axe from behind Santa flies fast through the air, catching him by surprise. It shaves an inch off the end of his beard as it returns to Lorian's hand.
You die tonight!
She jumps high into the air.
That head,
Santa says, now getting a good look.
That's an ancient artifact, made from a powerful metal.
He dodges the elf's landing attack.
How did you get it? Or lift it? And why put it on a candy cane?
He questions as he dodges axe swings from left and the right.
Gosh, shut up and let me hit you already!
Lorian lunges forward, her attacks now reckless. Santa ducks a swing, and his eyes are immediately brought to her thighs. He gasps, then twinkles his nose to dodge an overhead swing.
Little Miss Lorian, you mess with artifacts you don't understand. You've meddled and changed the belt of giant strength, all for a misunderstanding.
He calls to Lorian while high in the sky.
It's a garter belt of giant strength now, old man. Now come down here and get your comeuppance.
Surely we can talk and I can explain the situation. We can restore Christmas spirit and avoid this altercation. He begins to cast an ice spell to sway the angry elf.
Fuck off with your rhymes!
She heaves with a heavy swing downward, breaking the ice. She swings her axe as if to throw it, but she doesn't let go, her own force flinging her upward as if flying into the sky. She chases Saint Nick.
Die!
Oh, this won't do, Santa sighs, forming a great shield of ice. Lorian impacts with it, her axe head stuck into the shield. She tries to pull it out to get her weapon back.
You're a dirty slaver, and your base is cold!
She yells. Lorian, your cantrips will not affect a mage such as me. If we can speak, I can clear things up, you see. The elves work per diem, contracted workers. They're taken care of well. They don't need a berserker. To come in here would save them, for they are already free. I bring joy and cheer. To them I am no enemy. Lorian thinks for a moment in deep consideration, before calling her axe back to hand in desperation. She swings wildly, only seeming to break the rhyme scheme.
Like I'd ever believe the words of a capitalist! I bet you keep them debt-stricken so they have to work for you! Working countless hours for endless debt is still slavery no matter how many zeros the salary has!
For her safety, he twinkles his nose and teleports them back on the ground. He dodges, ducks, and weaves by the swings of the axe, trying to think of a quick way through to his attacker. With a wave of his arm, he summons a platoon of snowmen as they hop forward towards Lorian. They throw and pelt the young woman with their balls, snowballs, in hopes that the ice will cool her anger. She swings and chops now to block the barrage of snow, while not noticing the ice creeping up on her leg. But she slammed and flexed and broke out of Santa's spell, then began chopping through the snowmen one by one. Santa sighed. The belt and the axe have made the girl too strong, and not hurting her seemed farther and farther away from possible. Lorian closes the distance. Another overhead strike. Suddenly, a translucent igloo appears around Santa without so much as a word, blocking the attack. Please, Lorian, I don't want to hurt you, not tonight. Your cause is just, but I assure you there's no elven plight. His rhyme is interrupted by another explosion in the distance. His eyes turn, his jaw and spell drop. Not the barracks. His merry face now filled with horror. The fire roars high into the sky, almost blotting out the northern lights themselves. The factory is one thing, but why the barracks? Where they With the igloo gone and Saint Nick distracted, Lorian plunges her axe deep into his belly. The once perfect snow is now melting beneath a splash of red-hot blood. It's the end for you, Santa Claus, Lorian speaks. I didn't even know if you could bleed, but it looks like you can die like the rest of us. She raises the axe again. Sic Semper, enough! Santa bellows as he catches the axe with one mitten. The wind howls with Santa's anger as a blizzard manifests. Santa tosses the axe away and grabs Lori by the throat. They float slowly upwards with a blizzard around them. Santa's cheeks are rosy, but not from joy, as he scowls at the little elf trying to breathe. Listen, you ignorant little outsider! The elves live in Alfheim, where most of the toys are made. They work 30-hour weeks, have a union, and benefits. Factory workers are warm, safe, and they can quit when they want. The North Pole is an isolated base here on Midgard, Earth. And now your baseless causes kills who knows how many elves in the buildings you've destroyed. You've done more damage to these elves than the whole world in one night than I have in 1,000 years. Lorian looks without eyes of rage for the first time. She looks at the smoking factory and the burning barracks. She can hear the screams of the people she came here to help. Oh, she says, nervously smiling to the man holding her throat. My bad? She shrugs, never the best at sorries. It's fine, Santa calms down. It will cost me a fortune, but I can revive my staff. As long as— Ah! He yells, as Lori stabs his gut with a dagger hidden under her skirt.
As if I believe you! Show me the so-called Alfheim!
No! His voice angry again. You and your friend are going home! He takes some sand from his pocket and blows it into Lorian's eyes. What are you doing? Her voice fades out, her eyelids suddenly feeling heavy. Lorian awakes, softly and warmly tucked into her bed. She'd almost forgotten how bad she wanted Santa dead. She called for her axe, which came 4 feet from the right, as she stood up and failed to remember what had happened that night. Then in burst a blue tiefling with a scratched up present.
Look, what Santa got me! This is a trip well spent! One of the rarest earth metals, weaponized geranium!
Lori still tries to remember, scratching her cranium. Our plan must have failed, but I don't remember anything.
He must have used his magic to get us on the upswing. Next year we'll hit him harder, with everything we've got. More bombs and more people. An unbeatable plot.
Then Lori reached into her skirt pocket and pulled out a silver bell. No doubt left by Santa, she rings it for both to hear as they dwell. Quizzical looks on their faces as they exhaust their wit. Lori shrugs and announces, "I don't get it." The end. Did you like that little tale? Moral of the story? Brush your teeth? Or probably something like that? I don't know. Why don't you get some sleep so I can show off my outfit to you in the morning? Or afternoon, whenever you want to get up. Have a good rest, and have a very Merry Christmas. Mwah.